This is the Elegant Oxford. We specialize and offer premium shoe shines, dyes, and artisan patinas for quality men's brands and help others to learn the art of shoe shining. Visit theelegantoxford.com for all of your shoe care needs. Okay, so I've seen a huge discussion recently around patinas and purposefully using dye to darken or burnish the toe of a shoe. I guess this trend has really taken off in the last 10 years, and wherever you land on the spectrum of love or hate for this look, in today's video I'm going to explain why I think this look really took off, and why it's useful on some pairs of shoes. And for the record, I'm totally and completely okay if you hate this look. I think you can leave your own shoes as is and still appreciate looks you wouldn't personally rock yourself. So, patinas develop and are seen on metal and leather as they age over time. This is especially evident on copper, and I'm sure a lot of you have leather wallets or watch straps that have developed a nice patina over time. To that end, this artisan movement around patinas aims at shading certain areas of the shoe for a dynamic look, or to recreate patinas you might see naturally on leather, wood, or metal, or even to tone down shoes that may be too striking like this blue pair right here. So I will be explaining how and why I will be adding a darker toe to this pair of blue Adelaides. But before I do that and explain, I am removing the factory finish with acetone. The owner wanted a lighter blue color, and this pair was a little too dark navy for his personal taste, so I'm going to be stripping it down just to expose that lighter color underneath. Okay, now at this point I want to switch over to a live narration here in person, just so I can explain the following clearly and precisely so you can understand what to do. Now, what we're going to do is something we've done a lot in other videos, and that is to darken the toe. And I know that's something a lot of people don't like, but if you do it correctly, it gives off the impression that the shoe is shinier than it actually is. When you do it the right way, it'll look fine. I'm not just going to slap black on here and call it a day. I'm going to use dye to make a gradual darkening effect from dark to light, and then once it's dry, I'm not going to leave it there. What I'm actually going to do is cover all that black with navy blue mirror gloss, and it'll just cover that black. It'll mix and camouflage it all really well, and it'll look natural. It'll just look a lot more dynamic, a lot shinier, kind of like when you draw a sphere on a piece of paper and then you shade it in, and it looks 3D, it looks dynamic, it looks real. That's kind of what we're going for with the shoe. And that always makes the shoe look a lot shinier, and I'm going to show you what that looks like when we're all done. Okay, so get some black wax on your finger, or around a cloth around your finger, just like this, and very carefully, take your time and don't rush it. Start off by adding adding a layer, and using your finger just to blend it in like that. Okay, just like that. Just be patient and keep going higher and higher, but don't go too high, okay? Just shading the shoe in. Okay, and depending on what color your shoe is, you can use an appropriate color. Just make sure it's darker. You know, if your shoe is tan, you can even use a mahogany or a cognac color. That'll work just fine. Okay, and this is how you do more of a convincing blend. You add some dye like that, and then you use your finger and push backward that way. And it kind of leaves that line, it stops the line from forming, that dark contrast. You kind of want it to blend it in. So you put some dye, then you kind of pull back like that, okay? Just take your time, don't rush it. You kind of want it to blend it in. Alright, and when you're done, it should look a lot blended. Should look pretty blended like this. And it won't even look like this when you're done. That navy blue wax is really going to blend it in further. So it's the contrast is even less noticeable. It'll just look perfectly uniform from black to navy blue, and imperceptibly so. You won't be able to tell where it starts and where it ends. So it'll look, it won't look over-exaggerated. I think that's the worry a lot of people have, that it'll look fake or cheesy, and I don't think it does. Okay, now the owner wants some darkening here around the brogues, and that's not something you have to do, or that's part of this job, but the owner wanted that, so I'm going to just go and do that really quick. Okay, the groundwork is set, and now we're ready to shine the shoe, and I can show you what it's going to look like when it's done. Okay, first I'm going to use some navy blue cream by Saphir. I know it's not a color I use very often, but when I do need it, it's completely irreplaceable. It's exactly what I need, and it's a beautiful navy shade, so that's exactly what I'm going to use. So not a lot, kind of just enough to restore pigment in the areas that need it. And then afterward, right into the mirror shine. Now remember to apply the mirror shine with patience. Sometimes it just takes a while to develop, and other times it only takes a few minutes. If you need help developing a shine, check out my in-depth and comprehensive tutorial on how to get a mirror shine guaranteed. I'll leave a link in the description of this video if you need help. Alrighty, so here's the before, and as you can see, once the shoe is finished and worn on your feet, you won't see the black as much as you'll actually see the reflection of the mirror. People who see your shoe won't see a dark shade as much as they'll see an area of the toe that seems to reflect light much better than any other area, giving the appearance the shoe is shinier than it actually is. Dark color areas always look more reflective. In fact, the lighter in color your shoes are, the less reflective they're going to look. So a mirror shine on a tan shoe doesn't look as reflective as a mirror shine on a darker shoe like dark brown. Okay, so don't use any black wax or anything like that. Just use the darker leather dye and then cover that leather dye with a mirror shine with the appropriate color that matches the shoe. And if you do that, it'll look dynamic, it'll look shaded in, and it won't look too stark. Now, I totally understand if you hate the look. I know the shoe world is divided down the middle between traditional conservative dressers and those who explore a bit and sometimes set the standard over time. But I still think it's important to see why certain looks or trends become popular. Now, there seems to be good reason why we as humans prefer to look at really shiny things as well. In fact, Richard C. Gloss in the Journal of Ecological Psychology found that this phenomenon might find its root in our survival, since early man found that ripe and shiny fruit was better to eat over dull and rotten produce, leading to our desire to seek things that are glossy or shiny. Who knows if that's a sufficient answer, but in my opinion, shiny shoes all look better than dull ones, and I think most people agree. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and share for more content in the future. Make sure to check out my other videos as well if you'd like to learn more about shining your shoes. Look for me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Elegant Oxford for more. Remember to care for your shoes so that they'll last you for years to come. Always put your best foot forward. The small details matter most, so don't forget to hashtag shine your shoes. I'll see you next time.